Okay, 2017, your best year, yes. Let's have a look at technology. The whole advance of technology, and let's talk about that and see what do we have to say about that. And just before we start, I'd like to make a point. I think there's positives and negatives to this. I mean, the positives are clear. We can work smart, we can work from anywhere, our productivity is leveraged, and so on. But there are negatives as well, and the negatives are we're always on. Um, we need to disconnect. People get burnt out. I mean, I get emails literally in the middle of the night. I don't know if the guy's sitting there programming, they come out to me at 3 in the morning, but you wonder sometimes. So, I mean, there are positive and negatives to it. I think that the current research, this is a key. The current research says this is a key issue that's impacting HR. Again, I'd be interested to ask our audience out there: do you think that the advancing technology is an issue? Yes or no? The pace of innovation means we're now always switched on for sure, and the line between, I suppose, home and work is blurred. I mean, work is increasingly, I suppose, a virtual thing. It can occur anytime, it can occur anywhere, with mobile personal devices and global real-time communications. So people are working also at different hours, also at different places. And there are pros and cons to that. Technology development has changed the skills employers need. This is a real issue, replacing physical roles, I suppose, with what we call them knowledge-based roles. It has in effect shortened the shelf life, which is interesting, of an employee's skills. So I think that also, I think competition for people with in-demand tech-based skills. I mean, the research is telling us this is going to be a big issue. So people who've got cloud computing skills, mobile technology, data analytics, and so on. So the competition with these people is fierce. And I suppose for an HR professional, finding a efficient way of securing a solid pipeline of technology-savvy talent is going to be a big priority. I think also that the research is saying a growing proportion of jobs in the future will require creative intelligence, social intelligence, the ability to leverage artificial intelligence. And for a lot of people, I suppose that will be a route to happiness and fulfillment. I hope so. But I think also technology is actually putting up barriers to the social communication interaction, which may be causing younger people challenges with the ability to work with people. So I think these are important issues as I see them. And again, in terms, just to ask you as our HR expert here, if you look at those, number one, do you accept that they're real? That's the first thing I'm going to ask you. Do you accept they're real? Then two, if you do accept that they're real, these are real issues, what are the impact you think they're having on HR professionals and on their role?
Thank you, Padraig. Yes, they certainly are real. And, the research will tell us and our own experience will tell us that, the physical workplace is certainly changing. You mentioned barriers, so things like hot desking, remote working, part-time freelance workers. This is becoming the norm in terms of what technology is doing to enable different workplaces. The green agenda, and also the millennials' desire for flexibility and freedom from, the term we call corporate rigidity. So we are experiencing global teams coming together to work on projects also, having never met before. Things like cross-industry teams, these are teams coming together to come up with new innovative technology solutions that have never come together or worked together before. So for HR, we're focused on, how do we establish collaboration and effective teams? How do we help them to work together remotely? How do we promote open and social exchange, and how do we ensure effective collaboration? Things like, setting rules of engagement, effective meeting management, and being aware of our unconscious bias as well as we're collaborating. The other one is the cultural diversity. That's an issue, if you will, but how to host a meeting, how to invite participants to speak. Making space for everyone to participate in that meeting is really important.
It's interesting, I'm just looking here. I've got the feedback here from one of our participants saying, issue, yes, but more in terms of staff going onto WhatsApp groups, Facebooks. Where's the line drawn around what is said in these groups and data protection? Issues can end up in HR, but may not actually be anything to do with the company. So these are this is a good question. Any thoughts on this, Mary?
Yeah, that's the issue with productivity. People getting distracted with these because they are always on. It's very difficult for an employer now to monitor that.
And what about the whole security, data protection, what's said in these groups?
it's about defining when is acceptable to do these. You know, your coffee break and your lunch break, it's fine so long as it's your interpersonal, you know, your friends and peers. But you're not using those applications for work content. You have to look at the emails and the platforms and applications that are there for work. They are monitored and they are, you know, assessed. The company has access to those in most cases, and employees are informed that they will be accessed and monitored, and you agree to that.
Yeah. So, but I suppose the issue as well is somebody says something on Facebook or wherever, and it's nothing to do with the company, but as our listener here says, but it ends up on the company's desk, on HR's desk. I mean, I suppose these are problems we have to find solutions to. I mean, I know in the case of this technology, in advancing technology, I have a number of TTI distributors, some of our associates, who got great case studies. One is runs a mastermind group, company that runs mastermind groups for CEOs, and they use psychometrics to measure their teams in different parts of the world. For example, all their support functions are out of the Philippines. And they've actually measured everybody, and they've done the group wheels. They can show the behaviors, they show the driving force, they can communicate with people, and develop sort of a cultural understanding, an interpersonal understanding that they find very helpful. I was involved recently with one of our distributors, a VA, who was doing an EU recruitment project, big EU recruitment, and again we were doing psychometrics and analysis and so on and so forth in 11 different languages. So there are lots of, I mean, we've lots of clients who have offices in Poland, offices in the States, offices in different parts of the world. And so there are these cross-cultural issues, and technology allows these companies to work together different ways and to be very, very effective. So you have different teams doing different things, but there is a real need to integrate them. There's a real need to use whatever technologies are available. I'm not just talking about technology in terms of computers, or I'm talking also about technologies in terms of psychometric assessments and such like things, to use these kind of tools that are available to us. When I look at it, actually, I see opportunities or things that HR can do in encouraging freelance home work employees to use co-working space a few times a week. So that's sort of, I think, important, so that they don't feel socially excluded. I think that's really, I actually think that is important. We talk about these people who live at home and work at home and they never make any contact. We actually have people in the office here who come in who don't actually need to come in as often as do, and come in specifically because they want the social inclusion, they want the interaction with the people. The team meetings, I think the weekly team meetings, the 1 week team meetings are non-negotiable. That's really important. Even if you have to use, and you can now use video conferencing and so on to have everybody involved in those meetings. In fact, we did a whole recruitment selection process with a company where they were working. We did it all remotely. There were teams different in Canada, in Poland, and in Ireland, and we're all online doing the benchmarks together. We did the interviews together, all online using technology. So everybody participated because these people are all going to be working together, albeit in different geographic locations. And it's important they all bought into it and all part of the interview selection process. And that worked very, very well. I think just a couple of other sort of side issues I was making, and I'm interested to hear what you think about them. I think this thing of social inclusion is important, mental health is important, physical health is important. I think in this world we're living in now, we need to look after our employees' health and well-being. If we want them to perform, we want them to be engaged, they need to be in their best of health in every sense of the word. The 7 wellness pillars of air, water, light, fitness, nourishment, comfort of mind, I think are critical. And we need to sort of integrate those. I don't believe that these are the panacea to all problems, by the way, but I think they're becoming the norm, becoming expected. And certainly they by 2030, they say they're going to be institutionalized into buildings and workplaces, the way you actually have to design them. So I think wellness needs to be made into an important element of what HR is doing. And I suppose the last thing I just say is data analytics. And I don't know what you think about this, but I think that you have to make sure that the technology is actually working for your people, not the other way around. So all the various apps and systems are available. We can gather, for example, you can do just something similar to SurveyMonkey. You can get constant feedback from people, find out what's going on, what's not going on, are people engaged or disengaged. It's very, very simple to do. You can do them on a regular basis, get like real time, if you wish, feedback and analytics on what's going on in the organization and use that effectively.
Yeah, so Padraig, it's really it's top of our list when you look at it. Like technology was really behind it all, and I suppose I can probably share a story myself from my previous role as well, where we talked about mobile workforce and employees being all over the world, but the company I work for, they did demand a lot of their employees, and they were always airports, traveling to customer sites all over the world. So it was necessary for them to have systems that were always on and easily accessible on their mobile devices. Not just on laptops, but pretty much working everything off your phone. So people could really, they wanted to be more productive, while they were traveling, while they were on customer sites, while they were sitting in airports and taxis. And the challenge for the IT function at the time was they were tasked with improving the accessibility and the efficiency of the workforce for the company by enabling this. So of course, the obstacle then we faced back to the demographics was that the millennials adapted really, really quickly to this. I
can imagine me there trying to struggle with this.
The Gen X, which is where I fall, yes, we were the slow adapters, and we needed additional training and encouragement. And we had the millennials, convincing us that these were good applications and to use them. So yes, we adapted, but at a slower pace. So the action that the company took then was new applications and devices were introduced, removing the BlackBerry and introducing them on the iPhone, because a lot of mobile apps then were actually, we could use them for work applications. You talked about data analytics, so introducing a customer relationship management system for IT. So they had more data on what were people requesting help on, what were the common bugs and issues that, that they could work on to improve efficiency. And also introducing a self-service model, where people could request phones, apps, software, applications themselves as a self-service model. So the result was, with this new technology, it really enabled the business to support managers and employees to work more efficiently. The changes in the mobile devices really enabled the introduction of apps, to work from apps versus having to be in an office to be able to do your back office work or meetings.
So what are we saying in summary here? There are pros and cons. I suppose sort of where I started at the very beginning when we talked about this, we said I see positive and negatives to it. For sure, it's the future. Technology is the future. It's part of the workspace. We have to embrace it. We have to recognize the advantages that it brings, but equally the challenges it brings, and make sure that we manage them effectively. And as HR professionals, I think this is a critical issue going forward. I mean, if you can make it work for you, it's great. And if you don't make it work for you, it becomes a real problem. So that's sort of it. I just want to say thank you to everybody who showed up today. I hope you enjoyed the webinar. I certainly enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it, Mary.
Yes, thank you, Padraig.
Thank you for your excellent feedback. Thank you for your questions. And again, as I said to you, we will be sharing this webinar, a link to this webinar, a recording of it. We will also be sending out the guide. So we've taken the feedback we've got there, we've taken our notes here, and the basic research that we use, and compiling a guide, which we're going to send out to all of you, called basically A Guide to HR Trends to 2017. So again, thanks very much, everybody. Pleasure being with you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.